What's going on, YouTube? It's Richawd. Today I'm going to be reading 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, just to give a little context into the video. Here we go. Finally, brethren, pray for us, that the word of the Lord may have free course and be glorified, even as it is with you, and that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for all men have not faith. But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil. And we have confidence in the Lord touching you, that ye both do and will do things which we command you. And the Lord directs your hearts into the love of God, and into the patient waiting for Christ. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye withdraw yourself from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the tradition which received us. For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us, for we behave not ourselves disorderly among you. Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor and travail night and day, that we may not be chargeable of any of you. So we may not be chargeable to any of you, not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an ensample unto you to follow us. For even when we were with you, this we command you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Now that's the scripture that I'll be keying in on this video. Verse 10, which reads, For even when we were with you, this we command you, that if any not work, neither should he eat. For we hear that there is some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies. Working not at all, but are busybodies. Now them that are such we command and exhort by our Lord Jesus Christ, that with quietness they work, and eat their own bread. But ye, brethren, be not weary in well-doing. And if any man obey not our word by this ensample, note that man, and have no company with him, that he may be ashamed. Yet count him not as an enemy, but admonish him as a brother. Now the Lord of peace himself give you peace, always by all means. The Lord be with you all. The salvation of Paul with mine own hand, which is the token in every ensample, with every apostle ensample. Let me read that again. The salvation of Paul with mine own hand, which is the token in every apostle. So I read. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Amen. Now the scriptures I'm going to be keying in in this video is, like I said, verse 10, which reads, For even when we were with you, this we command you, that if any not work, neither should he eat. And I think it's important to read the next verse as well, because it gives a little context. And it's, these things are still happening today. Verse 11, which reads, For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies. Now, what does that mean? Working not at all, but are busybodies. This can apply to a lot of people. This can apply to the street dude who don't got a job, but always running the streets, quote unquote busy, always on the block, but don't got a job, ain't making no money, living disorderly, right? Nothing new is under the sun, man. These scriptures are flying off of the papers these days, man. But I'm gonna get into the rest in the video. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Richawd, back with another video. Now, in that first clip, I read 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. And you can see from the title of the video, any who will not work, some along the lines of any who will not work shall not eat. Now, it's a lot of people saying that my generation is lazy. And I want to give my 2 cents on that, because I don't believe that not only is my generation lazy, I believe that the world as a whole is becoming lazy, right? Why is the world becoming lazy? One, People aren't spiritually in tune with the higher power. They're in tune with Satan, and Satan is of a lower frequency. He mocks the Most High, but he can't match the energy of the Most High. So that reflects on the people. That reflects on society. See, people nowadays, everything is about money, right? It's not about the principle of things. You know, there was a time where people would work a job and they would work that job to the best of their ability because of the principle, because they were raised and they watched their father and their mother work hard. So they work hard, right? Nowadays, people feel like they shouldn't have to work hard because they're being inundated and indoctrinated with, all these celebrities and, all these false prophets and all these false leaders programming the people to be a lower version of themselves, a lower frequency of themselves, right? People settling for mediocrity. And a lot of people feel like things should be handed to them. Things should be easy. A lot of these females are starting to sell themselves. You're seeing more and more females. It's like every other profile I look on, these joints got a OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm not knocking nobody hustle. Hey, if these simps gonna pay for them OnlyFans, get your money. But I'm just saying, you selling your body. You a sex worker at this point. When you file your taxes, you will be filed as a sex worker. You will get tax money under being a sex worker. Just know that. For any female out there, before you hop on OnlyFans and start showing that, you feel me? Before you start busting it open, for the highest bidder, just know, 10, 15 years down the line, you will be looked at as a sex worker. You're basically prostituting yourself. Just know that, but, we have all these things going on. The society is reaching its lowest, and people don't want to work. People feel they shouldn't have to work. And most importantly, people don't want to work hard. People want to do the bare minimum, right? So a lot of these jobs are lacking quality workers. So they just have to settle. That's why you're going into all these restaurants and the customer service is horrible, because these corporations have to settle for these workers at this time because nobody else wants to work these jobs, right? So they have to be lenient. They have to let shit slide. You know what I'm saying? You go to these jobs, motherfuckers on the job cursing, acting very unprofessional. There was a time where you couldn't be at your job acting unprofessional, because it was a certain principle you had to stand by. This is how you know society is falling. When even in the workplace, people aren't conducting themselves respectfully, right? People aren't conducting themselves with the level of professionalism, right? And it's becoming the norm to not work at a certain standard. Everybody wants to make excuses. That's the feminine energy that this society has gotten into. It's feminine to make excuses. Men can't make excuses. Men have to be solution oriented, right? Men have to be solution oriented. Excuses don't get you nowhere. Either you get the job done or you don't. That's a men's mentality. And if you don't get the job done, you have to be accountable and evaluate, why didn't I get the job done? And what can I do to get the job done next time? Period. But we're in a society that's being softened up, that's being feminized. And to the question, is my generation weak? Is my generation soft? Does my generation not want to work? A lot of folks don't, right? A lot of folks don't. And a lot of folks have been weakened. But it's not just my generation, though. It's not just my generation. It's everybody, man. Everybody's being weakened and spoiled, rotten by this society. It's like this. The people are biting the apple, if that makes any sense. They're biting the apple like Adam and Eve did. They're curious to, and they're in love with this society. A lot of people are in love with this society. They want to be on the level of these rappers. They want to be on the level of a Lil Uzi, a Travis Scott, a Drake. You know what I'm saying? They're in awe of these people. They idolize these people. You know what I'm saying? So they follow these people very closely, and they're able to be programmed by these people, right? And we're now in a time where it's all about money. It's not about your character as a person. It's not about you being a family man. Families are being totally rotten and destroyed because everybody's out for self. And with the inflation, it's bringing out that more in people. See, what inflation is doing, it's going to destroy those who don't have a strong family base, because you're going to need a strong family base to survive in these times, with the food going up, with the gas going up, with the cost of living going up. If you don't have a strong family base and people who can work together and love each other, because it's one thing to be living with roommates and friends and shit like that. That shit not gonna last, right? Because what's gonna happen when you get into an argument with a roommate or a friend? They gonna put you on the street, or you gonna end up on the street, or you gonna end up leaving. But 9 times out of 10, your family not gonna put you on the street if they really love you. If you really have a strong connection, as family, you don't put nobody on the street. That's your family, right? You may distance yourself from a motherfucker. You may need a little space from a nigga, but you ain't gonna put your own family, you ain't gonna put your own blood on the street, because you love that nigga. And you know if that nigga's on the street, he ain't gonna be well. You know what I'm saying? Family's gonna be real important in these times, but any who don't work will not eat. If you don't work, you won't eat. Simple as that. Food going up. Like I said, food going up, cost of living going up. Everything is going up. You must work. If you're in a place where you're like, oh, I can't find a job, this and that, bruh, ain't nobody holding you back but you. You have to separate yourself from the crowd, from the group, right? There's plenty of jobs out here. There's plenty of places hiring. There's plenty of places that need serviceable workers. But you have to separate yourself from the pack. You may have to go sober for a little bit, because a lot of the higher paying jobs, you got to pass a drug test. Or if you in the know, or if you hip, you got to know the loopholes to get around that shit and pass it if you want to indulge in your shit. You know what I'm saying? But just know, higher paying jobs, you're going to have to pass a drug test. If you want to work at a hospital, you're going to have to pass a drug test. If you want to be a goddamn teacher, you're going to have to pass a drug test, right? Any higher level job, you're going to have to pass a drug test. Now, lower level jobs, minimum wage jobs, or jobs a little above minimum wage, you can get those easy without passing the drug test. But that's how they keep you at the bottom. Do you want to be at the bottom, or do you want to rise to the top? Right? See, and even with things like video games are easier these days. Back in the day, games like GTA San Andreas and all the old games, nigga, you doing the mission and you fuck up, that's it, nigga. You gotta start the whole mission over. Nowadays, we get all these checkpoints and all this bullshit, right? It done made shit easier, right? They're catering to the people that want shit to be easy, right? Because niggas be, oh, this game is too hard. Oh, I can't pass this level. Back in the day, they didn't give a fuck. Either you were good enough to pass the game, to beat the game, or you weren't. Like, you actually had to be skilled, and you actually had to have patience to do this shit. Now everything is being microwaved. You know what I'm saying? Even 2K. Before in 2K, nigga, you started off as like a goddamn 45 overall. And you had to grind your way all the way to a 99. Nowadays, nigga, you can just buy microtransactions and be a 87 on day one. Right? They done made everything easier. They done made everything about money. Who has the most money? Whoever has the most money can get the best build, because once the game drops, you just gonna buy a bunch of VC and pimp out your build. When back in the day, it wasn't about that. It was about who put in the most work, who was the most skilled, right? You had to actually put in time in that my career to get your player right. Nowadays, niggas ain't even, that's why my career is so whack now. Cause it's no thrill to it anymore. It's not fun anymore. It used to be something when you started off as that scrub grinding to be a star, right? Same. It goes with video games. It goes with all type of shit. Society has been dumbed down. The music is dumbed down. The sports is dumbed down. The entertainment has been dumbed down, right? People in general have been dumbed down. Their standards are lower. It's all about money now. Motherfuckers don't even care about the character of the person or none of that anymore. It's all about the money, right? Not everybody. You got your, you got your few out there, but I'm talking about the majority. The majority of people only care about money, and they'll line a nigga up for some money. They'll line their own people up for some money. That's when you're in a society that is falling. Is money important? Absolutely. You need money to survive. You need money to eat, right? That's why you have to work. But is it all about money? To where you got to put your morals aside, to where you got to put, you know, your soul aside? Motherfuckers selling their soul for money? Is it that deep? Some people, it is that deep. Some people want to be rich and want to be, you know, have this celebrity image. You know, a lot of dudes feel like they don't have a chance with women. They don't have a chance to keep up if they don't have a bag, because they see a lot of dudes just getting women off their bag. But what they don't understand, bro, is still plenty of dudes out here who are just your regular everyday man, working a job, doing what he can to get by, and he still has women. He still has women in his corner, right? I don't want to make this video super long, but just understand, anybody in this time who, you know, you may be at a job and you may be frustrated, you may be thinking about quitting, or you may not have a job at all, and you don't want to work, and you don't want to work certain jobs. You got too much pride to work certain jobs, but you don't got a job. You don't got any motion right now. Understand this, man. Understand this. As a man, life is all about building and leaving a legacy. Building and leaving a legacy. How do you leave a legacy? You have to have kids. You know, you have to have an offspring. How do you have a successful offspring? See, a lot of us, we were born into an environment to where we were almost set up to fail, right? We were born into an environment where we were impoverished. We were born into an environment to where we weren't getting as many nutrients as we needed as a kid, because we were starving certain nights. We was born into an environment where we ain't have it, right? And that's a fucked up situation to put your kids in. You got to you have to value your seed. You have to value whose club you shooting up. You know what I'm saying? If this is just me, if you don't see yourself, if you don't see this female as someone who can be the mother of your children, you should not be hitting it raw. That's just me. That's just my perspective. You can feel how you want to feel. But this is how we end the cycle of all this bullshit. It's a lot of dudes that done shot up certain joints, clubs, and they ain't see that woman as being no mother of a child. She just had a fat ass. She was just fine as fuck, right? Niggas wasn't thinking ahead. Niggas have to start thinking ahead. That's how we gonna get out of these environments. The key to all of this is when you bring a child into this world, because as a man, you're a builder, right? When you have a child, you start building a family, right? When you bring a child into this world, you have to give that child a foundation. That child is like a stock that you have to invest in. You have to put money into that child. You have to put energy, time into that child, right? If you're not in a position to put money, energy, and time into a child, you shouldn't have no children. You shouldn't have no children, right? If you're not in a position financially where you can take care of yourself, first of all, a lot of niggas can't even take care of themselves when they having kids. A lot of us was born into an environment where our parents were already struggling to pay their bills before you were born. Now you got a kid who need diapers, who need baby food, who need to be pampered, right? Who needs to be watched, who needs attention. That's how a lot of kids just end up at daycare homes and this and that, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why the family is so important. It's important to have a grandma, a nana, a auntie. You know what I'm saying? An elderly to watch your kids. You know what I'm saying? Your kids should be going to your elderlies. You know, your retired mom, your retired aunt. You know what I'm saying? That's who should be watching your kids, not some stranger. A lot of people, they got to send their kids to some stranger because they don't have a strong foundation with their family, right? They don't have a strong foundation with their family and they have to work. So the kid just end up at some daycare with some random motherfucker who's just collecting the check. Now, you know, you got certain people who actually take pride in taking care of a kid, but kids are annoying, right? Let's be real. Kids can be annoying. They cry, they poop, you know what I'm saying? They whine, they complain. You have to actually have love for a child to take care of them through all the ups and downs that comes with the child. Through that motherfucker peeing on you, through that motherfucker shitting and all that bullshit. You got to really love this nigga to go through all that shit. Some of these motherfuckers don't really love these kids. but they love that check. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna play the part. They gonna act like they this great daycare motherfucker. But really your kid is at a daycare and they not getting the love that they need. And then these kids grow up seeking the love from outside because they not getting enough love at home. Because their parents is always working. Right? They get neglected. I don't wanna get too deep into other shit, man, but just understand this. You have to work to build your foundation for your family as a man. Right? You have to work to build your foundation for your family as a man. First, your main focus should be yourself. You have to get yourself to a point to where you feel confident in yourself, because you don't want to bring a child into this world when you don't even feel confident within yourself. Because now you're going to bring a kid into the world and that kid ain't going to have confidence. Because who instills confidence in a child? It's their parents. If your parents don't instill confidence in you, then you're going to have to find that confidence on your own. And that shit is hard. It's doable. It's possible. But that shit is very hard. You're going to have to go through you're going to have a lot of lessons. You're going to have to take a lot of L's in life if you were born into an environment where your parents don't have confidence. Right? Your main focus first as a man should be building a foundation to where you have confidence in yourself as a man. You feel confident because you're doing things that is taking care of yourself. When you take care of yourself, you feel confident, right? A lot of motherfuckers not taking care of themselves, so they don't feel confident. Motherfuckers be like, they depressed, they this and that. A lot of motherfuckers is depressed because they not taking care of themselves. They not eating well. They not praying. They not in tune with mind, body, soul. They not in tune with mind, body, soul, spirit. They're not in tune with nothing spiritually. Everything is fleshly. Everything is vain. So they're depressed. And then they're living in the flesh. So they end up having sex and having a kid in the flesh. But it's nothing spiritual. They have nothing spiritual to teach this child. So now this child, when, you know, certain things is happening in their life, they don't understand it. They don't know how to comprehend it. Now the cycle is being continued. The same cycle that the parent went through when they was facing problems of life and they didn't know how to deal with it, or they weren't growing up. They weren't getting the lesson, because you're going to continue to end up, you're going to be in a cycle of bullshit until you learn the lesson. That's how God works. Until your ass learn, you're going to continue to be faced with the same fucking problems until you learn, right? Until you learn. And then when you learn, you elevate. And it's going to be a new set of problems that you got to learn and elevate from. Life is all about elevating from your problems. Problems are always going to come. Problems are always going to come, whether you're successful, whether you're not. Successful businessmen, they have problems. But once you've elevated to a certain point, you know how to deal with these problems. But how you stay at a low level is when you don't know how to deal with problems. A lot of niggas don't know how to deal with problems, so they stay at a low level. You have to learn how to deal with the problems that come with life, because problems are going to always come. There's always going to be some sort of mountain that you have to climb. And you have to have the strength and the knowledge to know how to climb that bitch. And how do you build the strength and the knowledge? Through lessons, through L's. You gotta have heart out here. You can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to fall on your face, right? That failure gonna make you stronger. That failure gonna make you more focused. That failure is gonna mold you, and when these situations are presented to you again, you're gonna be damned if you're gonna fail again. You're gonna be damned if you're gonna fail again, right? But to the topic of the video, any who doesn't work shall not eat. If you don't work, you don't eat. It's as simple as that. If you don't work, you don't fucking eat. You gonna starve out here. You ain't gonna always be able to rely on your mama and your daddy. You ain't gonna always be able to rely on niggas. One day you gonna have to rely on yourself. A lot of motherfuckers, like I said, a lot of this generation is spoiled and is lazy. Right? The world is becoming lazy. And our generation is just being highlighted in it, you know. Our generation is just being highlighted in it. Because, you know, you got the old heads like, oh, back in my day, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these old heads have a point. A lot of them was tougher because they were in a tougher environment. They were in an environment that was going through the process of being feminized, but it's not as feminized as it is today. And on top of that, they ain't had social media. They ain't had the internet. They didn't have social media or the internet. So generations of the past, they're tougher because they lived a tougher life, right? If you wanted to get knowledge, you had to go to the library and open up a book. Nowadays, you can just Google anything, right? So our generation is smarter than these niggas, right? A lot of times they don't want to give us our credit, but we is smarter than y'all niggas because we have more access to more information. So we're more in tune with spirituality. We're more in tune with self-help, right? We're more in tune with certain things that they weren't in tune with because they just ain't know about, or they just ain't had the resources to get the books or to learn about or to even know about, right? They couldn't just scroll on Instagram and get recommended all type of random shit. They couldn't just scroll on YouTube and have random videos pop up in they feed that may change their fucking life, right? They didn't have that. You either had to have OGs or niggas from the block or niggas in your family that put you on game. That's how niggas got put on game. And if you didn't have that, you just didn't get put on game. So that's why this generation is in an advantage intellectually, right? Niggas is tech savvy. Niggas know how to goddamn code and you know what I'm saying? That's why you got all these scammers and shit like that, right? Because niggas is smarter technology wise, you know? But is this generation lazy? Yes, a lot of motherfuckers don't want to work. A lot of motherfuckers don't want to work. A lot of motherfuckers is losing their heart. And this from the top to the bottom, man. Like these niggas in the NBA, bro. These niggas in the NBA ain't got no heart, bro. Ain't got no heart, bro. It was a time where niggas took pride in playing their 82. Niggas took pride in playing their 82. One, because it wasn't getting paid as much. So if you missed a game, your pockets was really gonna be hurting. Nowadays, these niggas is getting paid so much money. If they miss a check, they really not missing it. They'll make the shit back off the court or this and that. Or nowadays, niggas got guaranteed contracts and shit to where it don't even matter. So you got all these niggas load managing and all this bullshit. The league got to make a dumbass end season tournament to make these bitch ass niggas play harder and shit, bro. Shit is soft as hell. NFL, you can't even crack a nigga no more. You crack a nigga, you getting ejected from the game because of CTE and all this shit. Nigga, when you play football, you know what you signed up for. Nigga, you a gladiator. You go on a fucking battle. You can die on that fucking field. You just like boxing. Just like boxing. That's just like if boxing, I hope boxing don't, well, boxing, it's impossible to dumb that shit down. This is boxing. It's fucking fighting. Now, nigga can die in the fucking in the boxing ring. That's what makes boxing so alluring, and that's why we have so much respect for high level boxers, right? Because you can die in that motherfucking boxing ring, just like you can die in that football field. That's what niggas sign up for, you know. That's the risk you take. You know what I'm saying? But now they like I said, they dumbing everything down and they softening everything up. So where in football, you can't even hit niggas no more. Basketball, you can't even touch niggas no more. So that's why it's so easy for niggas to score. You know, they're making the game more skill-based and less, they're taking away the dogs, right? They're eliminating the dogs. That power forward that used to just sit in the paint and just foul niggas. You know what I'm saying? That added a certain, you know, level of nuance to the game. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too sidetracked. But I say all that to say society has been weakened in a lot of ways, right? A lot of these old heads who be talking about how this new generation is soft and this and that, bro. Y'all niggas is inconsiderate as fuck, bro. Right? Y'all a part of the problem. Y'all niggas is a part of the problem. A lot of the older heads who be talking about the new generation this, the new generation that. First of all, we are a reflection of y'all niggas. We are a reflection of y'all niggas. So when y'all speak down on us, y'all speaking down on yourself. Especially when parents be speaking down on their kid or the father be speaking down on the son. You basically speaking down on yourself because that's your seed. So if your seed came out and wasn't shit, you know, that means you ain't do a good job as a parent, you know? It says in the Bible, teach a kid the way, and he won't depart from it. Something along those lines. Teach a kid the right way, and he won't depart from it. A lot of motherfuckers ain't being raised right. A lot of motherfuckers ain't being taught shit. Right? A lot of motherfuckers is growing up in single parent households with emotional ass mothers. Right? And then they wonder why these boys grow up and they be emotional as fuck. Because they grew up in an emotional ass household. Right? Teach a kid the way and he won't depart from it. If you teach a kid right, LeVar Ball, he taught his kids right. All them niggas is millionaires. Right? Michael Jordan's father, he taught him right. That nigga's a billionaire. Right? Who else? Patrick Mahomes' father, he taught him right. Floyd Mayweather's father taught him right. That nigga's a billionaire. You teach a kid right, he won't depart from your ways. The things you teach him will be instilled in that nigga for life. Right? Back to the point of the video. Any who don't work will not eat. Like I was saying, as a man, your first focus needs to be building that confidence, establishing yourself, building wealth, right? You don't have to be rich, but if you work hard, you get a trade, you go to college, whatever you have to do. But if you work hard, you can establish yourself in life. I wouldn't say that's easy to do, but that's not impossible to do. A lot of niggas in the hood think it's impossible to get out the hood. Think it's impossible to get out of poverty. So that's why they scam. That's why they sell their soul. That's why they robbing niggas. Because they think it's impossible. They think this is their best shot. Right? Yeah, I may get caught up and go to jail, but what's the other odds? Me just being broken in the hood and starving all day? They think there's no way out of that. They look down on getting a 9-to-5 and hustling and getting the shit the hard way. Being patient. Right? Niggas done lost their patience in this generation. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers can't watch long movies no more. Motherfuckers can't play video games where you gotta really think and pace yourself. You know? Motherfuckers just need that quick dopamine fix. But I'm gonna close this video out, man. You gotta work, bruh. You gotta work. You gotta work to build that foundation. That's the process I'm in life right now. It's building a foundation for my future kids. Right? Because I ain't gonna bring no kids into this world until I'm established. You owe that to your kids. You gotta bring your kids into this world, and you have to have a plan for your kids. Right? That's your job as a parent, to have a plan for your fucking kids. LeVar Ball had a plan for his kids. Floyd Mayweather Sr. had a plan for his son. He said, my son's going to be a boxer. And he trained him since he was a baby to be a boxer. LeVar Ball said, my sons are going to be basketball players. And he trained them from kids to be basketball players. Certain people, they have kids and they say, my kid is going to be a doctor. And they train and they prepare that kid from birth to be a fucking doctor. And that kid grows up and becomes what? A fucking doctor. Why? Because his father is the man, the alpha in the household, instilled that in him. You as a man, you have to be the alpha of your household. You have to have a plan for not only yourself and your wife, but you have to have a plan for the kids that you have. You have to have intellect and discernment to be able to, have a vision for your child and see what he's gifted in and guide that child towards his gifts. That's your job as a fucking parent, as a man, as a father, to be a presence. You can't let a kid just go out and learn on his own. It don't work that way. You have to guide that child. It's your job as a parent, as a father, to guide your child. Because if you don't guide your child may run astray. Your child may choose the wrong lane. Right? Because when we're young, our brains is in an immature state. Right? We don't get that sixth sense yet. That third eye isn't open yet when we a kid, right? When you grown, when you hit 25, 30, 40, you start seeing the world differently, right? You start seeing the world in a way that this child can't even comprehend. So that's why you must guide and you must chastise that child. When that child starts straying away, you must chastise that child. Children are arrogant. Children are stubborn, right? That's why you need a man to put fear into them children, to where they will listen, right? That's where a lot of these households are lacking. They got these single mothers, and once the boys get to a certain age, they're not scared of their mama no more. They still love their mama, they still respect their mama, but they're not scared of their mama. Niggas be scared of their daddy though. Motherfuckers don't be ready to face their daddy until they grown, right? And by the time you grown, if you did your job as a parent, by the time that child doesn't fear you no more, it should be a level of respect to where he won't start acting out, right? If the child starts acting out by the time he gets grown, it means you ain't do something right as a parent. Because by the time he gets grown, things should start to click, right? All them beatings you was giving him, all the times where you was on his ass about everything, it should start to click. And he should start having epiphanies, and the things that you were telling him should start working, so he can respect the fact that and understand why you was telling him this shit, right? You get to a certain age where you start to understand your parents. You start to understand why they was on your ass so much, because they knew how hard this world is, but you ain't know as a child, right? But if you hard on your sons, like you got to be hard on your sons, man. You got to tough love. You got to toughen them boys up, man. A lot of these boys, they not being toughened up, right? The legal system, they not letting niggas beat their children no more, right? I believe that you should be able to whoop your sons, your children's ass, right? You should be able to whoop your child. If your child step out of line, you should be able to whoop his ass. What does that do? That instills fear. You gotta fear your son should fear you as a father. When I was a kid, I feared my father, right? That nigga was the scariest nigga walking around to me. Just as nigga had a deep ass voice, wide ass shoulders. Nigga was scary as fuck to me. And that nigga would beat my ass if I stepped out of line. So I knew around this nigga, I couldn't step out of line. You know? There's love and respect for my mom, and I feared my mom when I was little. But once I got to 11, 12, I wasn't scared of my mama no more. Real shit. I still love her. I still respect her. But I wasn't scared of her no more. Right? So that's why you need the father. Because once these boys get to a certain age, when they're not scared of their mama no more, they're not going to be listening to their mama. And their mama may be telling them some real shit. But like I said, boys are stubborn. So they're not going to listen to their mama like they should. Right? Like they should. That's where you need the father. Back to the point. Any who don't work will not eat. You got to work to eat. You got to work to get bread. You got to work to establish yourself. You got to work to fucking survive. What does it mean to eat? You have to eat to survive, because if you don't eat, what's going to happen? You're going to starve and you're going to die. So you must fucking work to eat. That's the game. The game is all about eating. The game is all about eating. If you're not eating, you're losing. If you're not eating, you're losing. You know how it feels to starve? I know how it feels to starve. Go days without meals. Go days without eating. It's not a good feeling. You're irritated. You feel weak. Right? I'm going to leave y'all with this. You must establish yourself as a man, right? To the point to where fuck how anybody else feels about you. It's all about how you feel about yourself, because that's what you're going to be projecting out into the world, right? How you feel about yourself. That's the projection the world is going to get. If you're insecure, if you're not confident, the world is going to feel that. Even if you try to fake it, you can fake it, but real niggas going to see through your bullshit. Real niggas gonna see through your bullshit. You can fake it with dumb niggas. A lot of motherfuckers is dumb as hell. So you can fake it with them. They're going to be, oh my God. But the real niggas, they going to, something don't smell right. This nigga on bullshit. This nigga on bullshit. They going to sniff that shit right up. They going to see right through your shit. Right? You project how you feel out into the world. Everybody is projecting. Everybody is projecting. But when motherfuckers is doing these rallies and all these things, you're projecting how you feel about yourself. Right? No disrespect to how anybody's moving, but just know you project how you feel about yourself as a person through your actions, how you treat people, how you move. You're projecting. And just understand, what you project is what you will receive. Let me say that again. What you project is what you will attract and what you will receive. So if you're projecting insecurity, you're going to attract insecure people. If you're projecting a lack of confidence, you're going to attract people with a lack of confidence. If you're projecting weakness, you're going to attract people that are weak. The Most High said a wicked man is rewarded a wicked woman. A wicked man is rewarded a wicked woman. If you wicked, you're going to end up with a wicked woman. Right? You get what you project. You get what you are. If you a strong man, you're going to get a strong woman. That's just how the world works. So understand this. This life is all about building and getting the best out of it as a man. That's all it's about. Building and getting the best you can get out of this. You may not become rich, but you should become wealthy. Every man has the power to become wealthy, to where you have resources. You may not be rich, but you can pay your bills on time. You may not be rich, but if something go wrong with your car, you can get it fixed. You may not be rich, but you got a refrigerator full of food. You may not be rich, but you have resources. Get your mind off of this rich shit. Everybody want to be rich. It's not all about being rich. It's not all about being rich. It's about having resources, being established, and becoming wealthy. You don't want to be poor. You want to be wealthy. And I feel like no man should have a child unless he's wealthy. And to me, like I said, wealthy is you can take care of yourself. And if a rainy day hits, you can deal with the rainy day. If some shit fuck up in your house, you can call up the plumber or the mechanic or the electrician, whatever, and they can fix that shit. And you have the resources and the money to fix that shit. To me, that's being wealthy. Right? And you shouldn't bring no kids into this world until you're at that point. And as a man, it should be your destiny. It should be your mission. It should be your purpose to get to that point. Because you're not a man if you're not building a family. That's what life is all about. Once you start hitting your 30s and your 40s, you're not a man if you're not leaving some sort of legacy behind. If you're not building something. Right? If you're not having sons and daughters to instill wisdom in. That's what's going to give you your purpose when you get into your older age. Because let me tell you, all this partying, all this going out, all that shit going to get old. All that shit going to get old. Yeah, you may, when you're young, it's going to be fun. It's going to be alluring. It's going to be thrilling to get that shit out your system. It's going to be thrilling to get drunk and to do all this wild shit. That shit, you know, you got to get it out your system. But once it's out your system, it's out your system. And you're going to be looking for something greater in life. And what is that thing that's greater in life? A family. That's what fulfills a man. That's what fulfills a woman. A woman's purpose is to breed, is to birth children and raise children. That's a woman's fucking purpose. To teach children. A man's purpose is to shoot the club up. Is to have the children and build a life for those children. And for his family. And while he's building the life, his wife is teaching the children. A man ain't gonna have time all the time in the world to teach the children, but he's gonna be the example. And when he does speak, those moments and those words are gonna hold value, because it's gonna be quantity over it's gonna be quality over quantity, right? Did I say that right? Yes, it's gonna be quality. Time spent with the man should be quality time. You shouldn't just be when you're in the presence of a quote unquote man, when your kids is in the presence of you, that should be quality time, important time. They should be learning something. You should be instilling something in them. And then it's the mother's job to be the teacher, to be the voice, to help them with homework, to help them with all that shit, to help them learn how to groom themselves. You know what I'm saying? But I've spoken long enough. A man that doesn't work won't eat. All you niggas out here who don't want to work, all you niggas out here who are lazy, all you niggas out here who got too much pride to work a 9 to 5, you feel like you ain't gonna get no hoes working at McDonald's, understand this. You gotta humble yourself. If you ain't got no money, if you ain't got no motion, the first step you gotta do is get a job. Because even if you want to go to trade school, you gotta pay for trade school. Even if you want to go to college, you gotta finance and pay for college. Everything starts with a job if you don't got the shit handed to you. Now, this video is not for any spoon-fed ass nigga. All you spoon-fed ass, and to each his own. And I hope when I have kids, by the time not even hope, fuck that. When I have kids, they gonna be spoon-fed. All spoon-fed is broke niggas being jealous. Because as a kid, you should be spoon-fed. Right? You should have things given to you. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Okay, let me put that into context. Should you teach your son how to earn and how to work for things? Yes. But should he be given certain things? Absolutely. Niggas in the hood be just jealous of that shit and try to throw shade at parents that do their job. They mad because they parents is buying they kids clothes. They mad because they parents done bought their kid a car. That's your job as a parent, to invest in your stock, to invest in your child. And you teach a kid the way, he won't depart from it. If you teach this son the right way and the right principles, he will be able to become a respectable man. Deion Sanders is rich, and his sons is respectable men. They're not walking around here on bullshit. They focused. They locked in on their career, right? And they grew up rich, right? There's nothing wrong with growing up, quote unquote, spoon-fed. We got to get out of this nigga mentality to where, oh, you've been spoon-fed, you've been spoon-fed. That's just niggas jealous of. A lot of times it be white kids whose parents did their job and took care of them and provided them things. They did what a fucking parent is supposed to do. And a lot of times we come from environments to where we didn't get that. So now we got to project that as, oh, you've been spoon-fed, you've been this, you've been that, right? And some of the strongest people come from environments where there was a foundation, right? Muhammad Ali, he didn't grow up poor. He grew up middle class. But he still had heart. He's still tough. A lot of hood niggas are in the mentality of, oh, if you don't come from the hood, you not tough. If you live in the suburbs, you not tough. Some of the toughest motherfuckers be from the suburbs, bro. Some of the dogs of all dogs be from the suburbs. Be from decent quote unquote environments. Be spoon fed quote unquote. But any that doesn't work will not eat. Remember that. I'll be back with more videos.